The Witcher video game series is widely regarded as one of the best in gaming history. With stunning visuals, epic fights, intriguing characters, and gut-wrenching decisions to be made, you'll find yourself lost in the Witcher world. And with the recently released Netflix series, non-gaming fans are flocking to the internet to discover more about the game's depictions of the Witcher story. Please note, I really do recommend checking out the books and the games, but if you don't have time, this is The Witcher 3 story in 17 minutes. Our story begins with Geralt dreaming of Kaer Morhen, the home of the Wolf School of the Witchers and safe haven stroke sanctuary to the Witchers during winter time. Geralt is having a nice relaxing bath when a weird crab lobster thing crawls in and bites his balls. Don't you hate it when that happens? We then see that the person who conjured said lobster was the sorceress, Yennefer of Vengerberg, Geralt's true love. She is naked, and we all begin to think, oh, it's that kind of dream, Geralt. Sadly, it's not, because we meet Ciri in the dream. Ciri is Geralt's kind of adopted child, stroke child of destiny. That's one for another time. And she's currently training to become a witcher. Then, all of a sudden, it gets very cold, and the Wild Hunt appear. The Wild Hunt are feared across the whole of the Witcher world, with some believing them to be myth. They want Ciri due to the nature of her unique elven blood, which grants her special powers, including the ability to move through space and time. Geralt then wakes up and he's lay on a tree just outside of a place called White Orchard. Through conversation with Vesemir, we learn that the duo are tracking Yennefer, who we saw in the dream previously. We explore White Orchard, we ask about Yennefer, and we run a few errands.
Here, your frying pan.
Mine?
Yes, obviously yours, you just fucking asked us to get it. And we also learn to play Gwent, possibly the best card game ever invented. Eventually, we are tasked with killing a griffin who is prowling the area in order to gain information of Yennefer's whereabouts. We kill the griffin, go to the pub for a swift ale, then Yennefer turns up at the pub, meaning we didn't really need to kill the griffin at all.
It's midday already.
Yennefer wants to take us to see the Emperor in Vizima, but Vesemir is like, nah, I can't be asked, and he leaves. Geralt and Yennefer head to Vizima when the Wild Hunt appear and begin to chase us. Yen and Geralt survive, but those unnamed soldiers with us, sadly, do not. What a surprise. In Vizima, we have another bath, because hygiene is important, and the Emperor gives us the assignment of finding his daughter, Ciri. Yes, that Ciri. The whole adopted daughter thing gets even weirder now, right? Geralt reluctantly agrees purely out of concern for Ciri and not love for the Emperor. After Yen hands him some leads, he sets off to Velen, which, to be honest, is a fucking shithole.
Lovely place. Swamps, bogs, marshes everywhere.
Geralt meets the Bloody Baron, a huge ex-soldier who now lords over these lands for the Nilfgaardians. He says that he saw Ciri, but before he can tell us what happens, we must do some fucking errands for him.
It's midday already.
The Baron's wife and daughter have gone missing, and after using our Witcher senses, which we probably didn't need in this occasion, we realise that the Baron is an aggressive alcoholic arsehole who used to beat his wife, so she and her daughter ran away. The search leads us to Crookback Bog, which I don't really recommend staying in. We find a creepy lady called Gran, and with the help of Gollum from Lord of the Rings, we are granted a meeting with the Crones, the mysterious witches who reside in the woods and pretty much control everything that happens in the surrounding areas. And guess what? They also saw Ciri, and they give us another errand to do. And here we are faced with the first big decision of the game. Do we kill the tree that they have asked us to kill, or do we spare it? This decision doesn't have a huge effect on the game, but it still does have some consequences. Should you spare the tree, it will free the children currently being held captive with Gran in the bog by the crones, but it will also pretty much kill everyone in the nearby village of Down Warren. Now, in my first playthrough of the game, I killed the tree, which led to the survival of Gran and the residents of Down Warren, but also meant the children were taken away by the crones, and it's kind of implied that they are eaten. Regardless of your choice, this leads to a face-off with the crones, who look different without makeup on. True to their words, which I didn't really expect, they tell us their Ciri experience, and we learn a little more about her whereabouts. She was injured and escaped the crones and ended up in the Baron's residence, which we kind of already knew.
It's midday already.
In the meantime, we are sent in pursuit of a witch who may have seen Ciri. The witch is Kira Metz, member of the Lodge of Sorceresses and kind of somewhat friend to Yennefer. Kira leads us through a cave and helps us fight some members of the Wild Hunt before we then discover the presence of a mysterious elf who is or has been accompanying Ciri. Who is he and what does he want? We'll find out, but first it's time to take a short break to have dinner with Kira because witches have still got to eat. We have the option at this point to sleep with Kira. Obviously we say yes because witches got to fuck as well, and Geralt be Geralt.
Close your eyes and count to 10.
Kira strips off and runs away. We track her using our witcher senses because that's exactly what they were made for, and we find her on a small beach. After a romantic roll around on the floor, Kira puts us under a spell and we fall asleep. Bitch. This leads to a pretty cool side quest that doesn't really have much relevance on the main story. Back in the main quest line, we're back with the Baron, and now shit gets really fucking weird. Baron's wife miscarried, and the baby is now a botchling, and they is nasty. We are presented with a choice to kill it or to lift the curse by turning it into a lubberkin, which is kind of like a guardian angel. Now, nice people would choose the latter option, lazy people would choose the first. We lift the curse, and the lubberkin leads us to the Baron's wife, who, plot twist, is Gran. Now, Baron's wife has lost her mind from her ordeals with the crones, who are now gone, but we do still have to fight their pet, which is a huge, giant fucking fiend. With the help of the Baron and the Baron's daughter, who turns up absolutely fine, we slay the beast and wrap up this quest line. After this, the Baron tells us his Ciri story, and that she left and went to Novigrad. And Geralt is like, shit, this is big news. Novigrad's not far away. I really should go there straight away. No time to lose. But first...
Ever play Gwent?
I do. And what's more, I usually win.
The Baron lost. 10 coins and a new unique Gwent card later, we trot off to Novigrad. Now, this place is much nicer than Velen, which wasn't really hard, but it is inhabited by racists fueled by a religion called the Eternal Fire, who hate non-humans and mages. So much so that when you first arrive in the city, you see a guy called Caleb Meng cooking a Doppler and a sorceress for breakfast. Geralt knows both. It's very sad. We then meet the King of Beggars and in turn Triss Merigold. Cue sexual tension. So Geralt once lost his memory, forgetting all about Yennefer and subsequently entered a relationship with Triss. He then regained his memory and binned her. Geralt be Geralt. Now during the entire game, Triss drops around 1 billion hints that she's really not quite over it. A few thousand errands later, we learn our friend Dandelion has been imprisoned and he is now the key to finding Ciri. With the help of our Doppler friend Dudu, Zoltan Shive, who, like us, fucking loves Gwent,
I never refuse.
and Dandelion's complicated girlfriend Priscilla, we find and manage to free Dandelion, who is like,
Geralt, must you ruin everything?
He tells his Ciri story and we learn that she was pursued by a crime lord called Horson Jr. after she had asked him to fix a philology, whatever it's called, which is something which lifts a curse. Intriguing. When about to be caught, Ciri teleported away, leaving Dandelion all on his own to be captured. Alongside the main quest, we meet Sigismund Dijkstra, who is posing as Siggy Reuven, one of the 4 crime lords in Novigrad. Now, Geralt once broke his ankle, so naturally, he's a little bit frosty, but still gives us a game at Gwent, and loses. Triss Merigold then asks for our help again. She wants us to help the mages escape from Novigrad before they can be burnt at the stake like so many of their compatriots have so far. To help with this, we go to a ball where we can drink, chat, and play Gwent. And we also have the option to kiss Triss, which will cue a nice romantic fireworks scene. Lovely. Back in Novigrad, with the help of Geralt and Dijkstra, the mages escape, leaving us with a potentially heartbreaking goodbye scene with Triss, in which we have the option to say,
I love you.
but I said,
I'll remember you too.
because Yen is the bomb. By the way, this is the most debated choice in the entire Witcher series. I'm Team Yen. So after this heartbreaking scene, Triss leaves and Dijkstra watched it all, which is a bit weird. He then casually asks you to help him kill King Radovig, because it's not like we're super busy, Dijkstra, trying to find our daughter and playing fucking Gwent. we park that potential questline for now and we fuck off to Skellig. Now, Skellig is my personal favourite place in the whole of The Witcher 3. It's full of beardy, sweary men and women who will also have sex with you if you beat them in a fight. Still hot on the trail of Ciri, we meet up with Yen at King Bran's funeral. We exchange in some flirtatious jokes, which I kind of think is a little bit inappropriate for a funeral, and then we go ahead to steal the Mask of Ouroboros from Ermion, who is Mousak in the Witcher TV show. The mask allows us to see glimpses of the past, and specifically the cause of a recent magical explosion in Skellig. Surprise, surprise, the cause was our lovely Cirilla, and we learned that her and the mysterious elf were attacked in a nearby village by the Wild Hunt. Geralt and Yen head off to the village and hear tale of a man called Craven who was disgraced and outcast from said village after the Wild Hunt's attack because he allegedly fled instead of staying to fight. We managed to find Craven, real name Skjarl, but unfortunately, he's dead. But not to worry, as Yen goes all Walking Dead on us and resurrects him. From this, we learn that Skjarl had helped Ciri escape and reunited her with the mysterious elf who argued with Ciri before knocking her out with a spell. Skjarl was also knocked out in the process by the Wild Hunt, only to wake up and see an ugly baby-like creature which resembled a similar thing that Geralt had seen previously at the Baron's house back in Velen. Now Yen, in her beautiful infinite wisdom, believes that this ugly son of a bitch who becomes known as Uma is actually the key to finding Ciri, which is, it's a little bit of a stretch, but we say, fine, we'll go along with it because, she's the boss. So once we are done dabbling in Skellig's politics, throwing babies into ovens and killing giants, and also having sex with this lady, we head back to Velen to find Uma. We kidnap the little dude and take him back to Kaer Morhen. Now, Yen believes that this creature is cursed and thinks there's actually a human being inside. Geralt, fearing it might be Ciri, agrees to her plan of subjecting Uma to the Trial of Grasses, which is a painful and frowned-upon method used in the creation of witches many years ago. It's long since been stopped. Geralt and his fellow witches Vesemir, Lambert and Eskel are all very uneasy about this, knowing firsthand the pain that this procedure can cause. But Yen, naturally, don't give a fuck. Oh, why do I love you so? The audacious plan surprisingly works and the curse is lifted, revealing Uma to actually be the mysterious elf who has been accompanying Ciri. Geralt quickly recognises the elf as an elven sage known as Avalark. We learn through Avalark that Ciri is hidden on a magical island called the Isle of Mists. With the help of Avalark's weird GPS device, we manage to track Ciri down. Get in! And then we realise that she's actually dead. Geralt is very sad, but then all of a sudden, Avalark's sat-nav somehow brings her back to life, and Geralt and Ciri share a lovely moment sat by the fire in which they chat about the upcoming CD Projekt Red game Cyberpunk 2077, which Geralt has on pre-order. He's very excited. We take Ciri back to Kaer Morhen and the Wild Hunt follow, but luckily we anticipated this and rounded up some of our friends from the journey so far, including Ermion, Zoltan and Triss. Oh, awkward. We engage in an epic battle at the Witcher Fortress, and this sadly leads to the old Witcher Vesemir having his neck snapped like a chicken leg. Technically, we are defeated in the battle, but Ciri has a right old tantrum after Vesemir dies, and this manages to propel the Wild Hunt due to her magical powers. After we say a very emotional farewell to Vesemir, Yen and Avalark hatch a plan to reform the Lodge of Sorceresses in order to fight the Wild Hunt. Geralt is unsure due to his awkward history with the Lodge. Basically, he's fucked all of them. But he agrees because, as stated before, Yen is the boss. We help track down the famed sorceresses Fringilla Vigo, Margarita Lux Antil, and Philippa Earhart, and the lodge is reformed. Now, before we take on the Wild Hunt, we have a choice of killing King Radovid, as mentioned before by Dijkstra. Now, this choice will affect who wins the current ongoing war and who governs over the land at the end of the game, so it's very important. In my game, I did kill King Radovid purely because I cannot agree with his racist ideals, despite also hating Emperor Emir. Following the assassination, Dijkstra double-crosses you and your friends Tala, Vez and Roach, who are all part of the plot. You have the choice at this point to walk away and remain politically impartial, but I was still a little bit annoyed by Dijkstra eavesdropping on my goodbye conversation to Triss earlier, so, out of vengeance, I killed him. Next, we head to Bold Mountain with Ciri to meet our good old friends, the Crones again. Ciri delivers sweet, sweet justice on the ugly children-eating sisters, whilst Geralt also manages to exact revenge on Vesemir's killer, Imlerith. So, after tying up our loose ends, we head back to Skellig and await the arrival of the Wild Hunt, with the Lodge of Sorceresses, Avalak, and Emir's Nilfgaardian army at our side. A huge battle ensues, with Ciri killing the commander Caranthea and Geralt slaying the king Eredin. The Wild Hunt is all but defeated and Ciri is finally safe. Also, we thought. Eredin's final words reveal that Avalak has crossed them both and has took off with Ciri to use her power to open the portal between worlds. Geralt naturally rushes off to confront Avalak, only for Ciri to tell him that she wants to enter the portal between worlds in order to prevent the White Frost, which is a doomsday end-of-the-world prophecy predicted many years ago and can only be stopped by someone like Ciri. At this point, we are yet again presented with a choice, and the dialogue we choose affects which ending of the game we get. I personally reluctantly let Ciri fulfill her quest despite fully expecting her to die. Time flashes forward slightly and we see the world after the war. Our choices earlier in the game regarding Radovid determined the outcome. Geralt then visits the Emperor and tells him that his daughter Ciri died, sadly trying to prevent the White Frost. However, we then learn that this is actually a lie. Ciri is alive and then becomes a Witcher. She does a few contracts with Geralt before heading off on her very own path. As for Geralt, our in-game decisions regarding Triss and Yennefer determine our fates. By choosing not to tell Triss you love her and instead telling Yen you love her, you and Yen live happily ever after. If you told Triss you love her and not Yen, then Geralt and Triss live happily ever after. Or, if you tell them both that you love them, then...
Hey, this isn't funny. Come back. Triss, Yen.
And the moral of the story is being a slut never pays. Now, as stated at the start of this video, please do read the books, play the games, they're absolutely brilliant, and there is so much more that happens in this game alone, which I simply didn't have time to mention. But that was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt story in 17 minutes. If you liked it, thank you very much. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and share for more Witcher content coming very soon.